What's up, everybody? We're back. Welcome to the next episode. I don't honestly know what episode this is because we're doing all these different series, but this will just be on like the main timeline. This will just be regular series, not anything descriptive, just different paranormal stuff that we're going to be covering. Today is something super, super cool, something that really caught up the last, I don't know, probably 8, 9 years, I guess, since it's been going. Today we're going to be covering something that's been covered pretty well, but I've got my own take on a few things. This will probably be a two-part video just because there's just so much to go over. But anyway, without further ado, today we're going to be going over the Mandela effect. If you haven't heard about this before, you'll probably want to stick around because I'm sure there's some things that you can relate to in your life that others with this, within this field uh, will make sense to you. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you'll understand. So just stick around. There's a lot to go over. All right, so there are not many things in the paranormal world that really get me truly riled up, but this had me like pacing my house, calling my friends who are interested in, the same conspiracies and paranormal that I am, and getting their opinions and hoping I wasn't the crazy one. So again, if you haven't heard about this, it's a little bizarre. It's a little crazy. Have you ever? Well, actually, if you haven't heard of it, you possibly forgot, or maybe you didn't forget, and we're in a time warp or an alternate universe or a separate timeline. Any of those, all of that will kind of make sense here shortly. Uh, I'm gonna make this a two-parter. It began around 2009 when a website popped up, themandelaeffect.com. I'll provide a link to that as well. The website is dedicated to the fact that some of us have memories, and I put that in air quotes, that don't match our current reality stream. Again, if you've never heard of this, it is going to sound absolutely bananas, but until we start getting into some of the more common ones, um, it'll start to click, and you'll be like, oh, okay, maybe that is right. The Mandela effect got its name from the obviously Nelson Mandela, the South African prisoner turned president. Some people believe and remember Mandela died in prison when he was imprisoned in South Africa, while others remember his release and rise to the leader of the country, which is the current timeline that we're on. So, which one do you remember? Feel free to comment on any of these below the video. This led to the name of the Mandela effect, but that is actually just one of the more obscure instances. It's kind of ironic that it's the main name for it, but anyway, some of the more popular instances of this mass memory issue are these, and some are movie related. Luke, I am your father from Star Wars, clearly. The line is actually, no, I am your father, not Luke, I am your father. From, God, which one is this? Snow White, I believe. Mirror, mirror on the wall is not what they say. It's actually slave in the magic mirror. Yeah, that one got me. I was like, I don't remember them saying that, but apparently they do. At least in the older ones, they may have retconned it in the newer ones, but in the old ones, that's what they say. In the old Disney footage, one of the biggest and one that really just got me so incredibly frustrated is the Berenstain Bears, with Stein is how it should be spelled. That's how I remember it, and that's how everyone remembers it. But apparently, it's Berenstain Bears with Stain, just in case you can't understand my accent. Again, Berenstain Bears is the actual current name. So, and that's Berenstain Bears was a child's book. You honestly should remember it. If you don't, I don't know why you don't. But it's these little cartoon bears. It was a children's book, super popular. But anywho, that's the one that really got me going, full speed into this. So you also have Charles Schultz, the creator of Peanuts and Charlie Brown. His name I remember with a T in it, but it's actually just Shulz. There's or SCH possibly, but I think I have it misspelled on here. But there's no T in it either way you slice it. So from Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. It's actually, I mean, that's how I remember it, but it's actually, if you build it, he will come. So I'm not exactly sure who they're talking about. Also, Forrest Gump, I believe, has one. Life was like a box of chocolates, is what it says. But we all remember for some reason it's saying life is like a box of chocolates. So apparently the current line is life was like a box of chocolates. My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. But again, these are just a few. You got Looney Tunes versus Looney Tunes, spelled with, spelled different way. UNE, um, some stuff like that. I mean, just a bunch of stuff differently spelled. Febreze is spelled differently than it should be. Celebrity deaths like Louis Anderson. I honestly thought Louis Anderson was dead. If you don't remember him, he's like I don't know, maybe a '90s comedian. He had a few shows, but he popped up on something I was watching the other day, and I mean, this is damn last week that I'm still seeing some of this stuff. So, Muhammad Ali, when he passed away, there was actually memorial videos from him dying like 2 or 3 years before he actually passed away. So those are just a few of the mainstream ones. These go way, way deeper, and they go into product placement, product names, colors of certain stuff, geography. I mean, it's just bananas. It's just crazy. I definitely insist you go look it up because there's no way I could have included all of the articles in the description. But again, those are just a few of the mainstream ones. Political changes such as Tiananmen Square, if you ever seen the little guy standing in front of the three tanks, everyone knows the young man standing, there. Some people remember him actually being run over. I don't recall that. I don't believe that happened, but some people remember it that way. There's some people who remember whole countries and continents being different. Japan's relation to China and where they're at on the map, New Zealand's location, Madagascar's size and location, multiple other, other border changes and things of that nature. This I feel could just be misinterpretation or misunderstanding. Basically, our failure as a people to teach others facts and truths. And again, a lot of footage and pictures and stuff taken from space is usually like spliced together, unless you take just straight footage from the space station. But satellites and stuff is just a bunch of images spliced together, so they could be wrong. Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. But again, there's a lot of different countries under this Mandela effect that people say are in different places. So that's definitely interesting. That's not cool. That stuff just ends up being somewhere else. There are also other political and pop culture instances of this. Remember, the ones that I am mentioning are literally a fraction of what's going on. So I think the rest of this episode will be going over some of the changes in memory, and the next one that we'll actually be doing will be focusing on the science behind it. I'm trying to explain people's theories, and because we're already at 8 minutes, so the next episode will be going over the science and the how this happened. Anywho, politicians and big names like Martin Luther King Jr., Abraham Lincoln, Bin Laden, Mussolini, Ronald Reagan, all have people who remember them dying differently than they did on our current timeline. Other movies and TV shows like Jurassic Park, Married with Children, Justice League, Independence Day, Cinderella, Snow White, Star Wars, Sex in or slash and the City, all those have changes to titles, famous scenes, lines, or even different actors completely than you thought were there. If you start looking into any of these, I bet you will have the same reaction I did, and it's just insane. The ones that really got me, again, were the Berenstein Bears. I know it as Berenstein, not Berenstain. That doesn't make no dang sense to me at all. And the other one I remember was when JFK was assassinated. Obviously, I wasn't alive then, but I've seen the footage, and there's always been 4 seats in the car. 4 seats, 4 people, and apparently there were 6, and they were in the back. There was the governor of Texas and his wife were in the midsection. Apparently it was a limo, not just a car. So they were sitting in front of them. There was also big movie ones like Mirror Mirror that I mentioned, The Field of Dreams. There was also the first, very, very, very first video on this that I saw was a guy talking about how his Bible had changed. And there were also changes in the Bible, changed from one of the verses. I don't know why I didn't write it down, but it's the lion will lay with the lamb, and the leopard will lay with the goat. Something along those lines. I believe it's in Isaiah. But basically, it changed to the wolf will lie with the lamb, and so on and so forth. And that, that's a big difference. That's a different animal completely. So a lot of people were blown away by that one. Also, certain words were changed, and this is not a interpretation of the words. I mean, this is still your King James, mainstream Bibles, and they would change words from like water skins and just more timely references to that time period. Like words like stuff were in the Bible, jugs and bottles. That's some words that were now popping up in the Bible that really shouldn't theoretically be there. I don't remember Jesus saying, "Hey, go grab that stuff." So anyway, those are just a few of the changes or different memories that people have noticed. This was just again some of the hundreds of changes, maybe even more out there. The next part again, we'll talk about all the crazy theories and my own even bizarre theory. Bizarre may not be a word, but it's insane. Trust me. On how this all came about. Now, I may have already recorded that episode, so I'm going to go over this one real quick. There is one theory, and if you stuck around for this long, thanks. There is one theory that kind of blew my mind, and I don't think I added it into that episode. So we're going to go ahead and throw this one out there for you. I don't remember the guy's name. I have the book. I need to look it up and put it in the description. But basically, someone suggested that there's a universal consciousness, and all of our consciousness is bound together. All of our, souls, all that, our memories, everything is bound together. And what happened is Earth suffered a catastrophic event, like literally earth shattering event, and we all perished. And we all perished, at once or very, very close to each other. So our universal consciousness moved over to a parallel timeline. And that's where we're currently at. That's why we don't have memories that make sense, or some people do and some people don't, because that's obviously that would be a really weird way to come over. You're basically taking over another consciousness of someone who was already in this timeline. So that was just one theory. that was one of the cooler ones, I thought, for sure. That wasn't, it's just a parallel universe and there we done with it. That one, it kind of threw me for a loop, because it's basically saying that we're all connected mentally, spiritually to the universe. Earth was destroyed and we were just thrown into another timeline where we weren't destroyed. So I thought that was just really, really cool. But that's just one of the theories that I have for you next time. Definitely check that out. And again, if you made it this far, thank you so much. And we will catch you on the next episode.